Hello everybody, today we have another upload from the World Team League, the tournament that gives us so many great matches every single week. We upload the best ones here on YouTube, of course. Today we have MaxPax and soO. This happens at 2-2 already in the Freecs, which is the team of soO, and PSISTORM Gaming, the team of MaxPax. So if whoever wins 2-0 basically wins the match for their team. If it's 1-1, it ends up in an ace match, and that could be any player from the teams. I thought this was a really cool one because MaxPax has been a big up-and-coming player as of late. soO, really cool player, always a legend in our hearts. So good to see him back, and really excited to see just how well he's playing right now. Any opportunity I get to see soO playing StarCraft at the moment is one I leap on. And yeah, this series against MaxPax is a lot of fun, so enjoy, guys. Check it out. It does seem like soO returned to the game in pretty darn good shape. So obviously stuff like that is very exciting to see. And hopefully he can just, you know, one of these things where I think in a few months, soO is going to be really, really good. Like, that's, like, to me, soO is returning to the game in the same sort of level that, that Hero and Classic kind of return to the game. He can already pick up wins, but he's still quite a ways off being perfect and maybe being fully caught up to the meta, you know, and refining some of his styles to kind of the modern-day StarCraft. But in the next few months, I think he's absolutely going to be a full-on contender, like Classic and Hero are now again in the Korean scene, right? So yeah, for how long he's been back, looking really good, looking really exciting, really fun to watch him play. I think that's really sick. So, let's see what he can do here against MaxPax. I do feel like, for me, one of the funny things is that, in my eyes, soO was always never great at ZvP because he was really good at massing units and attacking. But getting into the later stages, I feel like he struggled with a lot. And I guess, actually, like, that would have been worse if he came back, like, one patch ago, right, and played that Void Ray style. I feel like soO would have been horrendous. Like, that just would not have been a good meta for him at all. Like, he would have Queen Walked to Crapton and probably seen some success with that, but I don't think he would have been, like, a consistently good ZvP player. Maybe this patch is a bit better for him, but I just don't know why, but I have that tendency of just thinking that soO's not really, like, strongest in ZvP. I feel like he's strongest in ZvZ, ZvT matchups where his mechanics can shine. That's where I feel like soO can be one of the very best out there. ZvP is not quite as mechanical a matchup as it is a strategic matchup. And, yeah. And maybe, like, late-game mechanics. And like I said, I don't know how good soO is late-game-wise. I just think back to him trying to mass Roach Corruptor against, like, Archons and stuff way back when. Let's see what happens. I am intrigued how they match up, obviously, because this is not a match that you see frequently right now. Sometimes it is tough to gauge exactly where soO is at compared to some of the European competition, especially. He's been playing in a whole bunch of Korean events. He even played in a Wings of Liberty thing we did the other day on a Lima League. If you missed that, yes, we played Wings of Liberty with soO, Bunny, and Trap, and it was really freaking awesome. It was a fun throwback. If you missed it, it's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/WardiTV. You can !YT if you want to get on over there. soO was really good in ZvP 2014 to 2017, yes, but that was, like, a very different meta to what ZvP is now, right? That was, I think, like, back when he could be, like, very aggressive with Hydras. I was trying to think back, but, like, to me, like, soO was very good when he was, like, aggressive with Hydras and stuff. I don't know, there's just something in my mind which I feel like is, like, maybe, like, right now, I don't know if soO is, like, God mode ZvP. There was a lot of mass units on, like, exactly, yes. I mean, maybe this patch is okay for that, to be fair, because this patch, the Protoss kind of just mass expand. I mean, look at MaxPax go. 2 Nexus on the way up. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go for this then. Why is the natural Nexus still building, guys? Is this just like a super rush Stargate, and I'm just talking about freaking soO and MaxPax did something weird here? No, sorry, it's a 4th base. I didn't see it on the far right side. I was like, why is the natural still building? That's so weird. Did I miss something? No, I just didn't see the 4th on the far right. So yeah, mega expanding here from MaxPax. Sorry, the blue bled into the blue. Yeah, just mega quick 4th base. Jeez, okay, like so quick that I didn't even consider it could be the 4th base. I mean, if you get away with this, I mean, you're just in a nutty position. The plan usually would be to just mass up gateway units from this. You have a lot of economy, so you just spam a lot of, you know, low-tech units, and you try and make magic happen out of that. First Oracle actually dies. Triple Oracle opening. Not great if you lose an Oracle, because you lose a little bit of your dive potential and chance to deal damage. And especially when you're taking the fourth so quickly, if your opponent gets aggressive, that Oracle might be very nice in helping you defend. It's going to be seeing Queens, a Spore able to push the Oracles away. And +1 and Blink does start from MaxPax, so we are going to start seeing that Blink Stalker style of play coming into play right now, getting that set up. Oracles come back over this right side, and a couple of units here to push the Lings back as well, so clearing that out, pushing those away, and these Lings do sneak into the mineral line and begin to get rid of a few probes already. So a few probes already going down. I'm just going to be seeing a hatchery setting up on the left, a couple of batteries coming up, the gates coming through, and yeah, +1 and Blink, not far from finishing at all at the moment, so when that comes up, we'll see what MaxPax does, how aggressive he gets to be. He's already down on a ton of gateways. He's on 70 probes already. Just running away with the economy. That's the entire plan of this game. You know, that's the entire game plan here. That's the way this style works. Run away with the economy. Take it away. Run with it, you know. And see what you can do. So we'll see what happens here this time around. A couple oracles are hanging out in the center. And we are just going to be seeing +1. Blink all continuing through right now. Melee upgrade and roach speed coming up as well. And the extra mutas are now building as well from soO, so that Mutalisk count rising on up here. And that's going to be his way of going into this, which is kind of funky, right? Because you're playing against someone who has Blink Stalkers and the ability to build a crap ton of Blink Stalkers. You kind of think that maybe mutas are not going to be the best thing, but I guess we'll take a second and see here in just a few how exactly that pans out. For now, Stalkers and Oracles moving around the upper left. We see a couple of Adepts already getting rid of a couple of drones, so not bad as the first Stalkers come around this left side. This is maybe soO's weakest point for the right now, because right now you don't really have much of a way to deal with this army, because you've built mutas. But the mutas are now going to strike across the map, force Warpins back at home, and this is where soO can maybe power up a little bit and start to feel a little bit more comfortable. These mutas do get forced away up through the top side. And so far, only 5 pros. He killed off a battery on the third base as well, so opens that for attack as well. And then, yeah, as the extra roaches are just coming through, you do have Stalkers showing up, and they're going to be able to come in and deflect these mutas a little bit. So if we can do that, then that should work pretty well. The most important thing here is that so far soO is stopping MaxPax from doing serious damage with these attacks, right? There's not really too much going on there, not too much happening. However, there is a round of Zalds coming in from this bottom side now, so let's see what they can do. As they're going to run in and cancel this 5th hatchery immediately. That's a lot of Zalds against just a ton of units from MaxPax. soO is going to chase down the Stalkers on the top. He's got a lot of Banes, but surely you want to get Baneling speed if you're going to work with that many Banelings. I feel like it's kind of surprising not to see the Banelings up and running already, so yeah, maybe a move in towards those would be kind of nice. And just end up backing away. Zaldstalker continue to chase them down. And yeah, the mutas obviously would like to try and deal with these Zards, but that's why the Stalkers are here to support it. And soO now has to take this fight on 2 fronts. And again, the Zards are very tanky. They should force some Banelings to come on over here. Still no Baneling speed starting. Feels like an absolute mistake, right? I mean, we gotta have Bane speed at some point as MaxPax runs away on the top, starts to back away out on the bottom. So engaging in, Zaldstalker coming through, Roach is gonna start getting hit, and we do have this army of MaxPax continuing to make its way up around the top. And this style is very fun because you do just have 2 kind of armies in different places, lots of action on the map. It's definitely been great to watch as a viewer as we do see this force blinking back already. The Ling's trying to catch those Zealots. And get rid of a few of them there right away. And we're back on the bottom side. And again, this is the split that soO needs to figure out. There's just a ton of units coming his way pretty much all the time right now. And he has got to try and make the most of this. Stalkers continue to fight. The Ling's still wrapping around, doing whatever they can. This Stalker count is now dropping a little bit. I mean, soO's also losing numbers. They're both trading pretty fun here. I mean, look at resources lost way better for soO, though. He's only really lost Lings, so no gas lost. That's obviously going to go quite a long way, make quite a difference. There's a few Banes trying to get in there with the roaches chasing this down as well, so we continue to push this force out of here, at least for now. Stalker's the most effective, Ling's the most effective in terms of damage dealing. I guess that's hardly too much of a surprise just yet. Blink in, and a couple of roaches already going to be in some trouble, but obviously blinking in then leaves you exposed to the other units that are starting to show up, so maybe not super ideal. Ling Bane still rolling in, still going after those Stalkers. And the Stalker's going to have to be a little cautious. And there's actually soO getting all the way across the map this time. Is he going too far? Is this actually something he can make do with? Is this something he can make work? I think for the moment he is kind of just making it work, actually, so yeah, so far so good. We just have a few probes going down. soO still staying maxed out pretty much all the time. He only 73 drones from him, but I imagine he's honestly overall here trading pretty well, so probably doesn't mind too much the way that these fights have been going. This few Banes not going to do much as the Stalkers warp in to block them from hitting that mineral line too easily. Another round of Stalkers over here, going to get pushed back, and maybe soO could do a little bit more in terms of just trying to get units across the other side and kind of pushing in and stuff. Maybe that would be one of the better things that could happen in all of this, as the Ling Bane still coming through. The Stalker's going to get struck, and these Banes actually do get in amongst the Stalkers. soO, we're really pushing forward onto this base. Not a lot of stack defense to keep this base going, like a couple of batteries and pylons. There's a battery right in the back that is doing some healing right now, but this base will fall. 14 probes going with it, and soO is going to have an Ultra Cavern on the way up to deal with this as well. Banes crash in and deal with these Zealots, and actually soO takes a pretty sizable supply lead on the back of this. Maybe this is a really good meta for soO. Maybe this really is kind of when soO's meant to play ZvP, because actually, if this is how you play against him, he just gets to mass up freaking units, and that's what soO does best a lot of the time. So yeah, maybe this meta actually does kind of work for the guy. And this time around, just going to be seeing these extra Banes finishing morphing in. The few Stalkers still pushing forward as well. Just going to see these few Banes do get chased on out of here, so not too much to be done there. And soO just trying to open up this, open up the map a bit, take down these rocks. Another attack to the bottom side. soO will probably have to deal with this. Things are running in, and a few of these probes continue to go down. A couple of Zealots in the wall off. Not going to have much fun there at all. And this is soO finally getting aggressive into a mineral line outside of one of those external bases, but doesn't last long. A lot of Stalkers here going to be able to clean that up. And yeah, that doesn't really go very well at all just yet. Now the rest of these Lings come running through, and well, this base is very well stacked, defensed up, and I feel like soO is kind of throwing away units at the moment. I feel like these smaller attacks don't work well when MaxPax just wants to be warping in mass units anyway. So you can warp those in as a defense, and he's got the stack defense to back him up. Doesn't like that fight too much for soO at all. That was definitely one of the worst moments he's had here recently. We'll see if it keeps up. He's trying to come through, picking away at this Nexus here. And 4 probes have already gone down. More Lings up to the top. We do have on the bottom side the army of MaxPax ready to go again. soO's nearby. You can see he's looking here as well. The cameras on the mini-map are really cool additions nowadays. And you can see that soO kind of notices that down there. Just going to be seeing this fight, the one he's focusing on. Not a lot of Banes, and they do crash into the Archons. I mean, the Archons die. It leaves just the Stalkers, as soO is going to push MaxPax back away from this. Obviously, soO getting rid of that base on the top side from MaxPax was pretty nice initially, but now we're in a bit of a weird position where that base gets back online, and so MaxPax is back up to that economy. If soO could really take that economy down and keep it down, MaxPax is in no way, shape, or form going to be able to keep this up, and I think that's something we're likely heading toward at some stage in terms of our overall goal here. So see that Ultra gets targeted down, was trying to back it up, knew it was getting targeted. I mean, just an Ultra here and there does take some of the attention away from some of the other units and can actually do pretty well in some of the fights, especially against Zealots. So it does provide a bit of splash, right? Coming through here. The Stalkers are just really good at targeting down Ultras. That's my only real issue with them in this scenario, is that, yeah, Stalkers target fire Ultras a little bit, the Ultras die, and everyone's kind of sad. It doesn't really work too well. And then do you have the Ultra gonna get knocked down here as well, but MaxPax just lost 19 probes, and his supply has plummeted. He does come back up to about 100 as he gets a warp in of Zealots in the back lines, but yeah, losing more economy, only 50 probes now. That is a pretty big deal. Only 50 probes is definitely where MaxPax has not been in a long time. And when you're playing this style, it's all about being able to reinforce with a lot of units repeatedly, and that's just not the case with what we're currently starting to see. So it needs to be careful about that. MaxPax, you can see, he recognizes it as well. He did start up a few probes right away, but now he's not built any more probes. He's going to sit on 55 as Corrosive Bars push MaxPax back again. soO looking to push the Kwangdong Freecs onto match point if he can win this series. And he's on his way to it at the moment. It does feel like he is on his way to it. See a lot of people saying you don't understand the Stalker Zealot. I mean, the idea is Stalker Zealot can trade okay against Ling Roach Ravager. And if the Zerg can't tech up because you're applying pressure from such an early part of the game, A, they can't shut down your crazy economy, so you've got a crazy amount of Zealot Stalker to throw at them, and they're stuck on this army which doesn't trade well against it either. So eventually, there is a world in which you can overwhelm. You are able to split your army up so you can hit 2 different bases. That can be tough for the Zerg to deal with. It's a style that is very much so risen out of Heroes play over in Korea. And it's definitely been pretty potent as of late, but soO's had a pretty good response this game. He's been very good at defending multiple places, and this is, again, great. Every time he hits the mineral line right now and he gets rid of workers, I think this just becomes more and more likely that he's actually going to end up winning this game. So, yeah, it's really starting to feel very good right now from soO, because there's just not really much control going in on the other side of things. I think this is absolutely starting to be a little bit of a done deal here. Let's see if anything changes in the next few moments, though. If MaxPax can pull it back. He has some slowly and surely been MaxPax kind of adding on a little bit extra, you know, a little bit at a time. He's trying to improve that army. You know, obviously moving into the Archons was a nice addition. That definitely helps. But soO's been doing the same. He's been able to match it with the Ultras as well, right? And these Ultras currently helping to lead the charge up to the top side. Those Archons being chased out of here. And this entire force of soO continues up. And is just going to go running into this. The Bane's coming through. The Zealots are being chased away. Because of those Bane lines, the Archons might make a little bit of a hole, but at the same time, soO is the one that's splitting up the armies now. He's on the top side, absolutely decimating that base. And yeah, MaxPax needs all of these bases and all this economy to keep this game up. And that's why it started to go so badly for him recently. As, yeah, this one really does seem to be done and dusted. soO going to put the Freecs up onto match point, and like I was saying, I really did favor MaxPax coming into this. I do feel like he's been strong lately. I did kind of expect him to actually cause soO some trouble, but yeah, soO really dealt with this style of MaxPax very, very well. I mean, he handled this really, really well, and puts himself and his team up onto match point. Dang. I think that's just a case of, like, I genuinely feel like the DreamHack format's become a little bit stale now. I feel like we've watched these group stages repeatedly. And don't get me wrong, I think the playoff week is very fun. But the group stages, like, the very fun parts of the group stages could very easily be had without, like, so many of the matches at this stage. Group stages aren't very competitive. But I do like the fact that we see some different plays in the group stages as well. And there are definitely highlights in the group stages. It feels like we play 2 weeks for, like, basically like 2 or 3 matches per group to have a lot of relevance, you know? I don't know. Like, I think it would just be better if we had, like, a challenger premiere system for you, like we used to. And we just had that, like, stepping stone, like, if you put like the B tier of Europe into like stage 1 and they play out like 4-player groups, then they'd get the spotlight a bit more. They'd get to play competitive games and people would love watching it. Then the guys that are able to make it through there play against the A tier of Europe or something, and that's very cool as well. And then versus the S tier. It can even take the same amount of time, right? It can even take the same amount of time. It just feel like it'd be way more interesting. I think that's my issue. At this point, I'm just very done with the same format of DreamHack being done. And I've told them this. I think all the casters have told them that we'd love to see it changed up, but they just don't. So that's okay. If that's what they want to do, it's what they want to do. But to me, that makes it much more interesting to cast on my own stream, cast our own events and stuff. And yeah. I don't know. I mean, W says Challenger back in the day was very fun as well, but I just don't feel like now that DreamHack is kind of like now that these regional events are kind of like Challenger because they qualify, they don't qualify, they seed into Valencia. I feel like they should have taken a different approach. Like, it made sense when that was the main part of the season, but I feel like now they're meant to be more like a Challenger sort of event. Like, I feel like the format could have been way different and way more exciting. So yeah. Just there's just so many cool things you could have done, and it just feels like they just copy-pasted for this year. Just doesn't really fit in. Anyways, this game, pretty standard opening, not much to say. Oracle opening again from MaxPax. soO's taking a third hatchery, was forced to the third location initially, now taking the natural location. Pretty much everything is expected so far. I don't think anyone's really looking to be shocked by anything that's happened here, but if you're shocked, let me know in the Twitch chat, and I'll try and unshock you guys and explain it. Bring back War Chest Team League. We literally just did a version of the War Chest Team League. If you didn't see it, it was called the Casters Civil War. And we literally did it. It finished up last month. And it had all the casters in it. And it had all the best players in it. And all the VODs are on my YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, youtube.com/WardiTV. We crowdfunded, how much did we crowdfund? $25,000, I think? Freaking awesome. You guys really killed it. It was really fun to do something different. Oracle gets Zing, gets a couple of drone kills. Here comes Zing, gonna get a couple of drones already. 4 workers going down. Yo, what's up, Alfonso Donzo? Thank you so much for the 26-month resub. Welcome back, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, Oracle's doing pretty good. Some drone damage early. We're into that Twilight and the Forge, so very similar to what we saw last game from MaxPax. This map is not as good, though, for playing that kind of... I mean, he's not taking a super fast 4th base, right? But the general kind of direction of tech is very similar. What I am thinking here is that this is not a great map to play how we played in the last game, because it's much more difficult to split your army and to go different ways in this map, because there's not a lot of ways to move around the middle of the map. You've kind of got to really hard commit to the top or hard commit through the bottom, and so it just becomes a lot more one-dimensional and maybe easier to predict. And without a super fast 4th, I imagine it's going to look at least different from MaxPax here, so... guess they'll see what goes on. That's going to be seeing the couple of oracles, going to turn around, drop a little revelation. Do get a cancel on the 4th base. Still a fast 4th base. Just not super greedy like last time. Maybe he doesn't need it to be super greedy like last time because it's a gold. Obviously, that can have an impact, right? That can change how you play this, so that could be a factor as well. Just going to see a little revelation going down again. Those queens going to get pushed out of there for a bit. That will be that. Oracle's in the center. Moving around a bit here and obviously staying active. Then generally this star is going to pop off in about a minute or so, guys, right? With the +1 and the blink finishing, that's when the action generally does begin. That's exactly what we just saw in the previous game. And definitely expecting it to be very similar here this time around. So let's see. So you've seen Ling's trying to stay on the map again, even for the Zerg as well. The run-bys are a little bit difficult to pull off on this map because it's just very predictable exactly where they're going to come from. It's just a very scripted map in terms of movement of units when it comes to stuff like this. It gets more interesting later when you knock some of the rocks down, because that does shift a little bit of the movement from like top to bottom a little bit, or like mid to bottom. The top of the map changes a little bit when the gold base is mined out, because you get a little bit of access top into middle as well. So this map generally early is less interesting than like 2000 atmospheres when it comes to that movement, but it's way more interesting, I suppose, as the game develops. So yeah, that's actually something to note about Blackburn, that kind of way that it changes. Things want to kill off a Robo. They've just full committed to it. I don't know why we're looking away. I mean, that wasn't a committed fight. Super Battery popped to save it. So, yeah, that is going to be a save right there. Yo, GameBreaker60, thank you so much for the 1 bit. First donation of the day. Thank you so much for the 1 cent, my dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, Lingbane Hydra here from soO, and obviously has had time to tech up into Hydras this time around, something he didn't really get the chance for last game because the pressure started early and it never ended. We're now going to go into the Robo Bay as MaxPax, so it looks as though he's going to respect and react to the fact that it's going to be Hydras. You know, Colossi, very good against Hydras, and Lings and Banes. Disruptors, very good against Hydras as well, so a couple of options off the Robo Bay that would both be pretty viable here, and could absolutely be something very fun. Wow, Mies4 dropping the 2 bits in the chat. You guys don't go too wild. Jeez. 3 bits in total. Thank you so much. Do we have 4 bits? Does someone else want to double up? Let's see. I'll try and contain my excitement, guys. Lings and Bane's going to come running through here, pushing these Stalkers back, as we are going to be seeing the Stasis Sword going off. A few of those Lings getting caught. And that is going to be soO's attack halted for the moment. Not sure he wanted to really attack into the other side, just wanted to kind of go forward a little bit. Thanks for the bits, guys. I'll read everyone out after the game. Obviously, there's a few coming in, so let's focus up on this action right now, as we do have Stalkers kind of coming through, and just going to be having the extra zealots warping in on the side of MaxPax. Disruptor production coming through as well, and the Robo Bay is going to pop out disruptors already. Put them in the main, not going to do too well. Just going to be shut down immediately. Good play from soO, gets rid of that without really taking any losses, so very well handled when you consider it. Yeah, job very well done so far. These odds get around the back, picking up a couple units. These Banes crash in. Stalkers have to go blinking across over to the other side. We've seen a few Stalkers continue to come through. Bane Hydra moving around a little bit. And actually get blinked on. I was going to say there's maybe a bit of a surround coming in from soO right here. But it doesn't really turn into enough right away, although he's still kind of chasing this back, so maybe this does turn out to be okay. He's still going to end up pushing up. He's got a lot of Banelings, and I think that's the scariest part of this. The fact he's got so many Banes still ready to go. But here are the Disruptors! First split, decent. Second split, okay, as we do have more Disruptors really aiming for the Banelings now. Felt like he had a terrifying amount of Banelings, but not really any longer here. And we're just going to be seeing a few more Banes do connect. The last few of them did okay. None of the Disruptors died, however. And what's soO's long-term plan to deal with Disruptors? I mean, if he was going into Hive and Vipers, I'd kind of understand this, but right now I'm not sure. There's Lings all over the place. This is where the Disruptors might die, though, actually. We're getting surrounds on these Disruptors. We're killing a bunch of them off. All of the Disruptors are going down. soO, remember, is on match point here. And with a 50 supply lead, it looks like this fight is actually going to be enough to win it. I'm kind of a little bit shocked, honestly. Like, wow. A little bit surprised, genuinely. I mean, it just felt like this attack was not going anywhere. He was running out of units, but the Ling showing up made a hell of a difference. That was absolutely ridiculous towards the tail end of that. 15 probes going down. Just going to have our Hydras coming back to the high ground here as well. +2 melee upgrade coming in. Lingbane Hydra still coming through. Cannons coming up, and we do have soO just readying up another round of attack. I mean, with that previous fight, does he now have the momentum to just keep this going? Battle report shows soO has traded okay on gas, kind of equal on a little bit worse on minerals. That's fine. I mean, he's obviously kind of meant to be like that a little bit against those disruptors, especially. I'm just going to get rid of this Zealot and just take that one down. The rest of these Hydras coming across then, seeing what they can get up to. I'm going to feel them just sitting behind the gold base. MaxPax not being allowed to mine from there obviously is a pretty big deal. More of these Hydras through the bottom side and just going to make a little bit of a push along. We do have a few Stalkers making their way down here in the Colossus shots. Going to be pretty nice to deal a little bit of damage as well. Here we go once more from the bottom side. Disruptor being forced back pretty much straight away. A couple of Banes trying to roll in. Super Battery pops. We do have those probes already taking a bundle of damage as well. Yeah, just even forcing the probes away from the mineral line. They don't even have to die. Just keeping them away right now is definitely dealing quite some damage and really starting to add up here. Spire and Hive continue to come through. As the Hydras coming around the back. Hydras, more of them trying to get forward as well. Another disruptive shot will not land. Three Hydras still pushing forward also, and just seeing if there's any way, any opening currently available. Not really so far, as soO's MaxPax is not. soO would love to just jump on a fight, but Blackburn's choking. You know, every position you attack into on this map is going to be with something of a choke on your opponent's side to work with. It's not really a good way to work your way around those disruptors, which is why I imagine soO's pulling this a little bit slowly. These Zealots try to jump on those Hydras, but there was, in fact, a few Lings there, and they actually did a lot of buffering for those Hydralisks. Definitely saved them a little bit, because otherwise those Hydras might have been goners. From up here, you can have some success, because obviously you've got two different ramps to go down, so you can split up a little bit, right? You can go a couple of different directions instead. So definitely some options there, as we have got extra Balin still morph in the army in the center from soO. Coming down the bottom side, I love what soO's doing on the top. He's just making such an effort to make sure this gold base cannot really mine. The only thing I'd like to see is Vipers, man. Like, you know, he's on Hive Tech. A couple of Vipers against the Colossi would be amazing. Like, it could just completely shut down probably the biggest threat to your army right now. 21 probes die, jeez. That's, again, just a nice round of Banelings. MaxPax's economy just forced to constantly rebuild probes, so every single, every 20 seconds it's like 250 minerals, rebuild probes, right? It's going to be having the force from soO from the bottom, just going to run on in. Colossi putting some damage out, Link's taking some initial shots. Going to spread out a lot here, now try and re-engage. Disruptor shot comes in from the side of MaxPax. Isn't enough? I mean, soO's supply is disappearing. Now he starts up some Vipers. I really feel like that's A, very late. Maybe, kind of done because he's realizing this fight isn't going well, but did he need to take this fight? I really don't think he did. Why is he running in off creep? If you feel like you need to buy time for Vipers and, take a fight here, just step back like, a screen, right? Step back by a screen and just take a fight on creep. Look at the horrible trade that was for soO. 6.5k. Oh, sorry, was it from MaxPax, that battle report? Sorry, I think I read that the wrong way around. soO's gonna remax. Needs a lot more Banes though, right? He doesn't have many Banelings right now because he's kind of gas starved. Two Vipers have finished. I'm not sure where they currently are. But Vipers, especially on this map, are great because they can play around the ledges and the chokes so that they can get abducts off without ever really leaving themselves open to the Stalkers blinking on them. Because if the Stalkers blink into the Vipers, as long as you play the position correctly, it's going to be very tough to do much. There's the first abduct. We are going to move forward and abduct a second Colossus. One Colossus in the Prism, and this might be the fight soO's been looking for. This Disruptor's not going to have an exit strategy unless the Prism can save it. Not happening, though. This gold base was left to mine for a while as soO's pushed back, but now it's going to be denied once again. soO is losing drones in the top right, but he gets some Ultras up there to deal with those Zealots. And so that is harassment, which he's already getting rid of. He's already dealing with it. And it looks as though soO really is in prime position right now. And the Stalker's going to catch a few Queens. I think, obviously, the tech's been reset completely. And next time around, if you're looking for something to grab with the Abduct, you can grab the Prism and take away the micro potential from all of that as well. So, definitely options over there too. Additional Balance is going to come morphing in. Storm is on the way up. Extra High Templar are finishing. As that Storm whirring away, running in circles. Wings and Ultra's going to knock down this set of rocks over here. Anabolic Synthesis, that Ultra Speed of Reap. Being researched too. I do love the Storm. I mean, Storm to me is something that is great against Linkbane Hydra. Plus, you're going to then have Templar with energy on the map to feed back the Vipers, which is one of the big issues right now as well. So, I do like the direction we're taking that in. Gonna move down the bottom side, and soO coming up, grabs himself another Stalker, just able to find that already. And now up around the top, these few Stalkers are going to turn those Lings around as well. Prism gets chased away. Obviously low HP. Had the Vipers nearby, I wonder if there could have been some kind of abduct play. Just get rid of it, right? Just remove the threat from the map already would be kind of nice. The sooner you get rid of it, the better, no? So he's actually going to commit to a bit of a larger fight. He has some of the Ultras to try and lead into this fight with. Vipers feedback right away, so the first High Templar is good. Next High Templar, the Storm is not good. And the Banelings do kind of get pretty far forward, but so's not doing well enough, I don't think, in this fight. He has to back it up. And he's going to spend his entire bank on Lings. Now he does kill this gold mineral line yet again up here. Going to turn around, chase down some Stalkers, which take a beating right away from the Ultras and the Banes. And this base dies as well. soO is doing a great job at denying base and economy, and that just makes the rebuilding of MaxPax so tough. And that's what's going to really keep you in this as soO. That MaxPax just can't rebuild as easily as you would like to. It's absolutely the toughest thing. The Prism gets into the main, but only a couple of Zealots right now. Not sure that's going to lead into anything. Maybe a Parasitic Bomb on that Warp Prism. She just abducted the Hydras. That works as well. Now soO doesn't have to worry being back at home anymore. Resources lost pretty even across the board. soO's just kept his economy up. You know, when he's been making these trades, he has made sure to deny economy. He denied gold-based mining for a long time. And making it that MaxPax does not mind as much as him is what's going to eventually be the winning factor in this game. As now, soO crashes into the third, crashes into the natural. Obviously, a few storms going off on some of these Lings, trying to soften them up. But if those are storms going off already, they're not going to be back in time for the main fight. MaxPax doing his absolute utter best try and stay alive in this game, but at the moment just isn't happening. I'll just come through, knocking down this pylon, and you have soO back just a maxed. And look at MaxPax, he has basically no gas right now. Like, he had 9 gas in the bank when I started that sentence. Just struggling, I think, to keep his gas count going. Go once again, just gonna slip through and get that Nexus cancelled up one more time. Oh, the High Templar have Ultras on top of them. That's not fun. A few Lings get caught by Colossi on the bottom side, but yeah, losing the High Templar is obviously not great when you want the Storm and feedback, and there's just so much use for them. Really fun game. soO's got the 12 o'clock, he's got the 6 o'clock. It does feel like this is the tail end of the game. I feel like I've been saying that a while. MaxPax is doing a great effort of just trying to stay alive, trying to stay in this. But, it's honestly just not quite working out for the moment. Up the ramp we go. Ultras are going to try and knock down this group of Zealots. We do have the Banes going to engage in from a few different sides. Storm actually is split against wonderfully. The only problem is I feel like these Banes are crashing into like Archons, which is obviously not ideal. His Storms are a bit better. We need the Hydras to be able to join the fight a little bit more, and the Vipers drop a Blinding Cloud. The problem is now the Hydras don't have the buffer to go and join the fight. The Hydras want units in front of them so that they are being protected while they deal the damage. And because of all the splitting backwards that happened there, it just meant that MaxPax was actually able to take a fight mostly just versus the Banes and nothing else, which I think in theory is one of the better fights he can take. And like I say, it is kind of the problem with this style of soO, is it's just not a good army to end a game with. Could he have transitioned? Probably not. I mean, it's not like he's had a crazy economy, crazy banks all the way throughout. You know, transitioning fully into something else probably would have been quite difficult. I mean, in that regard, MaxPax is still being kind of in this game. As right now, he has this one push. This might just be the army to try and win the game with right here and now. He's going to lose an Ultra. Not sure where his army's going. It looks like he's base trading. I imagine the plan is to at least just knock down that base and guarantee that this next fight is all or nothing for MaxPax. Make sure he's no rebuild at all on the back end of this. It's going to happen on creep, of course. We dodged the first storm. There's the next one. Hits nicely on the Lings. I mean, Hydras just don't get here for a very long time. The Ultra's trying to get forward. The Viper's dropping Blinding Clouds to try and take the units of MaxPax out of the equation. MaxPax's army is just not going to die. He tries to abduct a Colossus, but soO is not going to kill this off. Right now, MaxPax's army is leading an army supply up the natural, turning around and chasing down what he can. soO has got more Lings in production to try and turn this around, but MaxPax has got an army right now that can fight. If he can just, I mean, he's just got so much real estate of soO to get rid of. That's the issue. soO's got the entire map still. Surely by the time MaxPax has to be fought, soO is going to have way too much time to rebuild. And it looks as though soO's just going to go with this Ling reinforcement. It is going to be enough. Oh my god, it was close though. Oh, it was close. Jeez. That was closer than I thought it was going to be, actually, at the end of the day. GG's. soO gets it done. The Kwangdong Freecs are going to be able to take down this best of 7, and that is going to put them up towards PSISTORM Gaming in the group. They're still going to be behind PSISTORM, but are absolutely now in the running, and they've really separated the top 7 teams from the bottom 5 teams. There's at least a 1-match win gap between them all now, and that's just going to start maybe defining our playoffs of this season of the World Team League.